Hi everyone, I hope you're all having a good week, or I guess weekend when you see this. I'm filming a full face of new makeup today because I have a lot of PR to catch up on. A lot of new releases, they're just like collecting in my office right now. So I have, actually let me show you. I have the Glossier foundation, which they kindly sent over. They also sent over their stretch concealer, which is not new to me, but I haven't used it in a while. So I think I'm gonna test out the Glossier foundation. I have the new Milk Makeup cooling water, what is this called? I think it's the cooling water jelly tint. And I have all of the shades of those, and I'll include swatches. Mob Beauty sent over a bunch of stuff, which I'm really excited about because I tried a few things when they launched a few years ago, but I haven't used any stuff from them in a long time. So excited to get into that. Some new stuff from Swede, which is new to me, and I've been dying to try out their mascara. I've just heard such good things. So I do have that in here, as well as a few other things. And then I've got some stuff from Trish McEvoy, and this is also a new brand to me that I've heard great things about for a long time. So I obviously won't get to every single thing here, but I am going to have enough, I think, for a full face. I also just used the new Fenty Skin Plush Puddin' lip mask in their new scent, Kalahari Melon. It smells amazing. If you know what any of their other stuff smells like, it's this scent that's in their skincare in mask form, and it smells so delicious. Also, I'm just realizing it has a bit of shimmer in it, which I didn't notice when I tried it out last night, but it's not really visible. Just an observation. Real quick, I'm just going to put, this is what I've been doing for my brows lately. This is not new. It's the Lawless Creamy Brow Wax in medium dark. I actually put like a light brush of it through my brows. I do one coat and then I do the rest of my makeup and I sort of let it set for a while. And then at the end, I go back and do another coat, and it's been really nice as just my one and done brow product, especially for a more natural brow day. See what I mean though? It just like actually gives me a little bit of hold, not like a laminated look, but it also is just enough tint to fill in the brow. Okay, let's get into the Glossier foundation. This is obviously not a new release, but it's new to me. And I think they did a really good job with this shade range. I think it's 24 shades, but they're really well distributed from fair to deep. And they also seem to have really good undertones. And it's gotten really good reviews from my sense of things. So they sent over two shades, medium 1, which I'll use today, and medium 5, which is definitely too deep for me right now. It might be something I can mix in the summer. Medium 1 has a neutral undertone and medium 5 has an olive undertone, and it looks like a really good olive undertone. They also sent over their face brush. I'm not sure how I feel about this. I'm sure you've seen this before, but it has like a little button that you push and then it opens up and you've got the brush here and it says Glossier. I mean, as like an object, it's very chic. I don't know how I feel about like the shape of it. I think it's been polarizing and like the bulkiness of it, but it's cute as an object. So I'm going to use it. I'm just gonna take a couple pumps on the back of my hand. Okay, so I've got a pump on the back of my hand. They say that this is light to medium coverage with a natural finish. So we'll see. I'm just gonna dot it around my skin. It actually has a stiffer consistency than I was expecting. And it feels really creamy to touch. My skin is not in the best shape today. I've had a rough week of sleep. I got my flu and tetanus shot at the same time and it took me out. Yeah, I've just been really achy and sore. I do think this shade will be a good match. So let's see. The brush feels really soft. It's very dense, so it doesn't feel like fluffy. And it's almost like spreading rather than blending, but I kind of like it. I am at like the palest I've ever been, but even still, this is a pretty good match for me, especially undertone wise, and I'm actually surprised it's a little lighter than I was expecting it to be in tone. Oh. Oh, okay. So you have to lock it in, otherwise it'll slide back into its compartment while you're using it. This is where the brush gets tricky because I'm like, it's very wide, a little too wide. But the foundation does feel super creamy. It's gliding on the skin really nicely. How do I use this on my nose? I guess I'll just use it on the side. Something I'm noticing is that I feel like it's making my skin look really smooth, like it's kind of blurring, and it just looks really like a soft filter on the skin. Okay, that wasn't even half a pump. I'm just gonna build up with my fingers because I'm having a hard time blending in like detailed areas, like around the hairline, around my nose. I do have like a really big cystic spot here right now, so it's giving me some coverage for that. I don't expect it to be really high coverage. I'll definitely go in with a concealer. Okay, around my brows and my nose is where I feel like I need a smaller brush. I'm going in with the BK Beauty Nikki LaRose N17, and I like the fluffiness of this for around the nose and like the crevices of my face because it doesn't over apply product because it is quite fluffy. And you really don't want any product like caking up around your nose. It's the worst. Oh, also, happy Lunar New Year and happy Super Bowl if you're watching. We are actually, not today, but the day I'm posting this, we're throwing a Lunar Bowl party. So it's our Lunar New Year / Super Bowl party. I'm making a lot of our like traditional Korean Lunar New Year food. So I'm making mandu, I'm making tteokguk, and I'm making, well, I haven't decided yet, a few other things. And then we're also gonna have like nachos. So it's a fusion party. Okay, that is a little less than 1 pump of the Glossier foundation. I don't really feel like I need more. It gave me a really natural coverage, blurred over pores. It kind of concealed redness, but it still looks like skin. And I really am surprised that it's not a more radiant finish, but I like that because I have combo oily skin. This brush is cute, but maybe not the most practical. I like it as like a thing. It's like a fun thing, but I also imagine it's kind of difficult to wash. Just have to say that. I'll report back on how it wears in a pinned comment because I am going to be wearing this all day and it is the morning. In terms of other base products, there's the Stretch Concealer in Medium 1, which is my shade. Mob Beauty also sent over their cream foundation in the shade Olive 40. And if you're not familiar with Mob Beauty, I think it's the co-founders or some of the original co-founders of Urban Decay started Mob Beauty. And one thing I really like about them is that they are very sustainability focused in their packaging. I'm not a packaging expert, so I can't really speak to this, but this is an example. So when you buy the product, you get the outer box, and then it comes in a cardboard package with the compact. And then they sell separately their palettes, and their palettes are like post-consumer recycled plastic, I think. So this is the repurposed palette. I actually do have one of these in my collection already. So this is the palette, and I think this is also recyclable. So then you just pop the product into the palette itself, and all of their components are like compatible with their palette system. This is Olive 40. I think it's actually a good match, and I'm actually kind of surprised by the pigmentation in this because I did swatch this earlier. So I'm going to use this to cover up that blemish. Did you see that? It's very creamy and it's also very high coverage. It's a really good match for me. And I think this is nice because it's going to give you actually really adjustable coverage. It's creamy enough to really spread it out, or you can build it up to a higher pigmentation. Obviously, have not tried this all over the face yet, but I'm going to in the future. I just wanted to see how I could use it to conceal. It is definitely on the dewier side, especially compared to like my NARS Soft Matte Concealer, which is really just designed to be a concealer. This is designed to be all over. So it's dewier, but I'm gonna see how that sets down. Trish McAvoy sent over their Instant Eye Lift, and this is an under eye brightener. I don't often go for an under eye brightener simply because I'm lazy and I don't like more than one step, but I'm tired. I definitely see some blueness coming through on my under eye, so I'm just gonna use this a little bit. I think under eye brighteners can also be tricky because I find them difficult with my particular undertones. Sometimes they're a little too pink or they can look a little bit ashy, so I'm just gonna use a little bit. I'm gonna blend that out with my, what is this, the N14 brush. And I think the trick here is to really not to use it like concealer, to keep it really focused where the darkness is rather than blending it out all over. This is creamy, but it's not really thick. I feel like I could use some right here too. It is brightening. I feel like for my particular undertones, I could use an under eye brightener that has a touch more orange, so more peach than pinky. But I also feel like this is really forgiving because it's not too pigmented, but it's definitely a shade for fair to light medium skin tones, I would say. This is shade 1, which is fair to medium. There's shade 2, medium to tan, and then there is shade 3, which goes from tan to deep, so just FYI. I actually don't think I have a new concealer, so I'm gonna go in with my Fenty concealer. It's basically been the only concealer I've been using lately. It's just that good. It's stretchy, it's flexible, long lasting, looks natural, doesn't get cakey, hydrating, all of the above. My shade is 225N, and I do have a full review of it on my channel. It's just so easy to use. For blush, I have like 3 blush options. I'm not gonna be able to use all of them, but I will show you all of them. So I have the Mob Beauty Cream Blush in M72. It's this really beautiful, like earthy terracotta blush. Maybe I'll use this almost as a cream bronzer actually. Oh my God, that's so pretty. It's like an earthy, dusty, but kind of terracotta shade. I'll swatch it for you. Ooh, wow, I love that. So pretty. I really don't think I have any blush shades like this. It's very complex, very unique. So cool. And then I have the Milk Cooling Water Jelly Tint, which I'm sure you guys have seen all over social media. This is a really big launch for them, but if you're not familiar, this is like a jelly stick. It really does like wobble and it's sheer. It reminds me of like the push-up candies, and they stain. These are surprisingly pigmented. So this is the shade Spritz right there. And this is kind of like a coral shade. This is the shade Chill right there. This is the shade Burst here. And this is the shade Splash, which is like a berry right there. Obviously they're like pretty translucent, and you would think that they're not that impactful, but they really are. They're also made in the US, but they really feel almost like a K-beauty tint, not only in like the entertainment aspect of it, but in that sheer but like punchy stain quality. Okay, I'm not sure how this is gonna work because the Mob Beauty blush shade is like very earthy and grungy, and these are very bright and poppy and juicy, but I'm just gonna roll with it. So I'm gonna start with the Mob Beauty blush actually, and I'm going to take my Sephora Collection 90 brush and just do like a light sculpted blush moment, I think, because it is earthy, though it's actually more pink on my cheeks than I was expecting. So maybe we'll do this on the back of the cheek, and then I'll go in with the Milk makeup on the center of the cheek. That's so pretty. It's really, really blendable. I like how buildable this is. I feel like I could get really high pigment if I wanted to, but it's a very classic cream. It's not dewy, it's not radiant. I'm actually gonna use this even in my like temples, in my hairline very lightly. Not a lot, but just enough to give like a slightly sun-kissed look. Wow, I can see this becoming like an everyday blush. It's so nice. I'm actually gonna go into the shade Chill and see how this goes. I've heard other content creators say don't apply this directly to your cheek because it's so pigmented. So I think I'm gonna just use the same brush maybe and see how that goes. I don't know how it's gonna work, like picking up the jelly consistency. Let me try on the back of my hand. Okay, it is working. I do think you wanna do it pretty evenly, and then just on the apple of my cheek, I'm just gonna do this. Wow, yep. There it is. You really, okay, that was too much. You don't need a lot. I think that was enough for both cheeks. It's cute. It's like a watercolor blush. It's very Asian beauty. I'm gonna take it across my nose a little bit just to blend it all in. It's very Asian beauty to have that sheer, juicy stain sort of look. It's not dewy in texture, like it sets down actually and it does not move. I will say be careful not to get this on your clothes because I can see it staining. Okay, for highlighter, I have two shades of the Mob Beauty Hyaluronic Highlight Balm and the Suspended Sparkle Balm, which kind of scares me, the sparkle part of it. I don't really go for a sparkly highlighter, but it looks pretty. So this is the Suspended Sparkle Balm in the shade M130. And let me swatch it for you. I mean, it's sparkly. It's really pretty. I actually would like this as an eyeshadow. That's the Suspended Sparkle Balm. You can see it looks much deeper in the pan, but it really is just like a champagne highlight. And there is definitely sparkle, like she did not lie. And then this is the Highlight Balm in M99. And this one doesn't seem to have much, well, it has, well, I'm not sure. Let me see. Okay, this has more of an iridescent sheen. Actually, let me do swatches on my other hand where there's no color left because the stains did stain my skin, so I want you to be able to see. Okay, this M99 is sheer, but it has like a very, very subtle iridescence to it, almost like a blue iridescence. Not to the point where it's like, ooh, mermaid holographic, but there is just a slight bit of like a cool undertone. And then let me swatch the highlighter, the Sparkle Balm on this hand again so you can see. By comparison, that is the Sparkle Balm, and you do definitely see like suspended sparkle in the formula. It's really pretty. I don't think I would go for this on my cheeks, but I would like it on my eyes. So let me do this. I'm just going to take, let's do this brush, the N17, but I'm gonna flip it onto the cream side, the dark side. I'm just gonna pick up a little bit of the M99 and just very lightly tap it on the tops of my cheeks. I really don't want like an iridescent highlight. This is more of like a balm, a sheer balm, but I'm not gonna pile it on so that like the iridescence shines through. I find that when you apply balm highlighters with a brush, you just get a thinner application anyway. See? And then it really on the face just kind of looks like you just applied skincare, that kind of glow. Oh, actually before I move on, I did want to show you the Trish McEvoy liquid face color. It's like a click up stick with a liquid blush. I have the shade 1 and let me see if I can click it out. I see it. Okay, that took like no work. I was worried I'd be clicking forever. I'll just show you here. It's actually a really pretty pink, like a pink stain, much less pigmented than the Milk Makeup. and it has a bit of like an iridescence to it. I don't know if you can see that. I'll use that another day, but I am actually really into that shade, especially going into spring. I'm into like a cool pink moment. I don't have a new powder, but I've really been loving the Fenty Invisimatte powder. They actually sent this to me when they sent over the concealer, and I had never used it before, and it's really good because it's very thin and mattifying, but it doesn't take a lot of product, so it doesn't ever make you look cakey. As someone with combo oily skin, it really helps me control shine throughout the day. So I'm not really gonna powder my cheeks, I'm just powdering in my T-zone and across the jawline. I am going to powder where I concealed here, just to lock that in. I may need a little bit more concealer in a bit. And then I'm gonna powder across the eyes just to prep them for eyeshadow, because I am using the Mob Beauty Clay eyeshadow. By the way, if you've been like following along recent content, stuff on Instagram, I've been really getting into slow fashion, thinking a little bit more intentionally, just in my own closet, but also my content creation practices, how I can be a little bit more like aligned with my values and just aligned with my politics. I think part of it is that being a content creator who has an anti-capitalist politics means forever living in contradiction, because you are actively engaging with the world of sales and marketing. And part of what I think is helpful about videos like these with new makeup and stuff is sharing a review of things that I think are worth it and are not worth it for you guys, but also contending with the fact that that means I use more product and have access to more product than an average consumer would. And also, I'm not an average consumer because this is my job. So I really don't necessarily have the answers. I don't think I'm gonna give up all PR or all new makeup, because I also like this stuff and I like keeping my finger on the pulse of what's happening in the beauty industry and fashion too now. But I guess I just want you guys to know that it is a process that is evolving and changing behind the scenes all the time. And if you have suggestions for me, I'm always open to that if you want to share your thoughts with me in the comments. Okay, so the Mob Beauty Cream Eyeshadow, they call it their cream clay eyeshadow, and I have the shade M123. This one, which is like a peachy, warm peach. And then I have the shade M105, which is like this warm chestnut brown, I want to say. These are so pigmented. Okay, that is the peachy shade. Wow. Wow, wow, wow. That's real pigmented. I love it. Oh my gosh. It's such a silky, even blend. Whoa. I was not ready for that impact. I don't know why I wasn't expecting this level of opacity, but they are opaque. And these are like one dip swatches. It's pretty amazing. I'm gonna take the BK Beauty 206, which is a synthetic brush. I'm gonna go into M123 and just create a base across my eyes. This is even a pretty, these are both good one and done shades actually, if you just want a wash of color. It's giving me a lot of control to sheer out if I want to, but they're buildable also. I do wonder about the longevity on the eyes because they are very creamy. It's actually very difficult to find an opaque peachy cream eyeshadow like this. Like, you would think it's not, but to have this level of pigmentation takes a lot of white pigment, and sometimes that can look cakey, but this doesn't, and it's still giving me pigmentation, even though it's so close to my skin tone, you know? Then I'm just gonna take the same brush into M105 and just deepen up the outer corner. Okay. Wow. The blend is incredible. I mean, it's taking me no work at all. Like, literally, I'm just sweeping the brush across and it's blending. Okay, I was a little scared when it first went on, but it actually is blending out so nicely. I am going to take a clean brush and just clean up the edges because that blended out further than I intended. But that was so easy. That was like a really fast application. Okay, I'm gonna try the Swede eyeliner in the shade dark brown. This is, or dusty brown, sorry. This is their satin kohl eyeliner. It's a true pencil liner, which is what I prefer for longevity. I am getting a little bit of creasing with the eyeshadow. I'm just going to line the lash line. This is on the drier end of the eyeliner spectrum, but I actually like that because I find that they're longer lasting than something super creamy. Should I do a wing? It's already winged out. Okay, let's just do it. If you like to do winged liners like me, you need the BK Beauty 208. It's like the teeny, oh, that's a mirror. It's like the teeny tiniest angled brush you'll ever find, and it's stiff, it doesn't move. It's great for cleaning up the wing. I mean, you don't need it. I'm trying to be a little more thoughtful about my language. You don't need it, but it is really, really nice and very helpful. Okay, the eyeliner is not even, but today is not an even day for my eyelids, and that's normal. I always say my eyelids are like my mood ring. You can tell if I'm tired, you can tell if I'm haven't slept well or if I'm not feeling good, like with my shots. So it's okay not to have even wings. No one has perfectly symmetrical eyes. Okay, Swede sent over their Cloud Mascara, which I think is more like lengthening and volumizing. And then they have their Pro Lash Lift Mascara, which creates impossibly long, defined, and voluminous lashes, thanks to the comb-like brush. I think this is the one I'm gonna go with. I think this is the one people talk about a lot. And I really like a comb-like brush because I like something that's very separating. Yeah, this is the one. So interesting. This is just one side. It really is like a comb. I'm gonna try one side without my primer, my Peri Para mascara fixer. This is a very wet formula, so I'm a little nervous, but I'm just gonna build slowly. I do really like how separating this is. And I also like that the comb itself is very thin, so you get a lot of control, especially if you have smaller eyes. I like it. I'm surprised. Even though it's really wet and inky, it's not dropping my curl and it's not clumping, I think because of the wand. I like it so much, I'm just gonna keep using just this and not my usual Peri Para. I also just looked it up and it is water resistant. It's not waterproof, but I'll let you know if it smudges throughout the day. Mascara is on. I really like the separation. It's also so black. It's actually really, really defining along the lash line. This is the step in the makeup when I finish off the brows. So remember my Lawless brow wax. I'm gonna go back in and apply a second layer and just really set everything where I want it to. It's almost like that base layer gives me something to hold on to with this layer. It also amazingly does not clump up as I'm adding more, and I'm able to distribute it like really evenly. I'm also feeling like I need a little bit more spot concealing, so I'm going in with my NARS Soft Matte. This is what I use for like heavy duty coverage when I need it. This is the shade Custard. I have a few lip products that I can finish off with. I have the Swede lip liner in the shade Cindy. Looks like this. It's a really nice like caramel brown. I have the Swede lipstick, which is a really cute like chubby stick in the shade Gabriella. I like that this isn't super opaque. That's really pretty. I have the Trish McEvoy lip gloss in the shade Innocent. Looks like this. Whoa. This is like a pretty thick gloss. And then of course I have these guys. So we're gonna do a lip cocktail. I'm gonna go in with the lip liner in Cindy first. It also has a little like brush tip at the end. It's creamy, but it's not too creamy. I can tell it's gonna be long lasting. The packaging actually reminds me a lot of the Estee Lauder lip liners. It's like, it's a pencil, but it's more like a wax pencil rather than a wood pencil. And then I'm gonna go in with Gabriella. I can see this being a really easy purse lipstick when you want a little more pigment, but it's not like fully pigmented. I guess I'll try this too. Why not while we're here? It's thicker than I typically go for in a gloss. It's a little too thick maybe. And then to just like give me a pop of juiciness and tie everything together, let's do this. It really does, ooh, it feels cooling on the lips. It also has a floral scent that I did not pick up on the first time. And I actually really like the way it's turning things a little more pink. Now that we're here, I'm like, why not? Let me just add a little more pop. I actually feel really good in this. You guys know I love warm peachy tones and a bit of pink also. So this feels very me. But let me give you a quick rundown of everything. Glossier foundation, I really like. I'm excited to keep testing this. It played really well with the rest of my makeup. And I like how I can get such a thin and even application of it, and it blurs the skin as well. It's also not too dewy, not too radiant as of now, but I'll leave my wear test results in a pinned comment. The eye brightener was nice. Again, it's not a category of product I use a lot, but I do like that there are 3 different shades, and I liked that it played nicely with my concealer, the Fenty concealer, which is one I'm really familiar with. So it did give me brightness, but it didn't add any heaviness or additional texture under the eyes. The Mob Beauty foundation, I'm gonna have to give its own wear test all over the face. It did feel pretty emollient around like the spot concealed area. That's why I added more concealer, but it might be different around the whole face in a thinner application. So that's something I'm gonna have to come back to, but the shade match Olive 40 was a really good match for me. I'm so excited about this blush in M72. I think this is going to become a quick favorite of mine. I can already tell it's going in my everyday makeup drawer. It's such a unique shade. I love the earthiness of it. And it's the kind of thing you can use as a bronzer if you're my skin tone. The consistency was just like perfect. Not too dewy, not too radiant, but also not matte. It's very thin. The Milk Makeup Cooling Water Jelly Tint is really fun. And it's actually a lot easier to work with than I was wondering about, because I was a little nervous about the level of pigmentation and just the blendability, but it actually blended so nicely across my cheeks, even when I layered it. Oop, I have an eyelash. Even when I layered it with other makeup, it still played nicely and it didn't get patchy. I would say the brush really helped because it gave me an even blend, and I really like how it looks on the lips on top of those other things. I don't think you need all 4 shades of this. Unless you really love it, then go for it. But within the shades, there are a couple of similar shades. You know, there's like the pinks and reds, and then there's like the berries and cool tones. So I would just say take your pick. But it is really fun and surprisingly easy to work with. I will say I don't think you should draw this directly on your cheeks. The Sparkle Balm and the Highlight Balm. This is really pretty. The Sparkle Balm I obviously didn't get to use, but I'm going to test it on the eyes. They are on the emollient side, and as someone with oily combo skin, I would just caution you to use them in a really thin layer with a brush. But I do feel like this gave me really healthy looking, dewy, plump looking skin across the tops of my cheeks. I'm really excited about the cream eyeshadows. I do see some creasing in my folds, and that's to be expected with cream eyeshadows. I really don't have any cream eyeshadows that don't crease ever, but this is on the emollient side, I can tell. So I would caution you to use this in a really thin layer rather than piling on a bunch of product. But you know, I kind of like a lived-in grungy look, and I feel like that's what this product is. It's not going to be a matte finish, but I do like the way it looks on the eyes, and especially like above the fold, it blended out so nicely, and you can get a really thin but pigmented layer. So even though you need to work in thin layers, you don't sacrifice pigmentation or color for that. The eyeliner, I can't speak to quite yet. It was easy to work with, easy to wing out. Hasn't smudged yet, but I'll let you know. It's not an uber pigmented liner, but I kind of like that these days. Mascara was a total hit, pending it not smudging, which I'll let you know about. But I really love the separation, the pigmentation of the black color, the lengthening. It's not the most curling, like I probably would use this with my mascara primer, my usual Peri Para, but it still gave me like enough lift and definition to open up the eyes. The lip liner, a great shade, great caramel nude. I think it's going to be long lasting. I'll report back. I didn't do a very strong application of it today, but I'm going to keep using it. And I really like the lipstick as well. This kind of surprised me because I was like, oh, it's just another like lipstick, but it's creamy, it's not too thin, it's hydrating, but it's also not like a really thick texture. It's not like a thick melty texture, and I like that about it. I think it makes it easy to apply. The lip gloss was not my favorite texture. I'm gonna have to try it on its own just to see, but I don't love a thick gloss like this generally, so TBD. So I think that's it for me. I know this was a lot of new makeup, a lot of new launches, but I hope you enjoyed. If there's anything I didn't get to in the review, let me know in the comments. If you have any questions for me, look for that pinned comment, and I'll see you in the next one. And if I don't see you before Valentine's Day, then happy Valentine's Day. Bye.